Winner, 6:30 weeknights on 5.
Good evening. This is the CBS Evening News. I'm Bill Curtis, sitting in for Dan Rather. Like generals after battle, authorities in the South were counting casualties today. 22 people reportedly were dead, and damage estimates ran in the millions after tornadoes, thunderstorms, and flooding in recent days. One woman was killed when a tornado touched down last night at this mobile home park at Possum Kingdom Lake, about 100 miles west of Dallas. And thousands of people were homeless along the San Jacinto River in southeast Texas today, with the waters nearing record levels. And now John Sheehan reports from one hard-hit Mississippi city where anger is at flood stage.
For the people of Jackson, the news was bad today. Instead of receding, the flood would rise again. Unexpectedly high water from the north into Barnett Reservoir forced officials to release more water into neighborhoods where 700 homes and businesses are already flooded.
I know this is not much consolation to many people who are worried and who are watching and seeing the water creep.
In the Hightower section of town, Billy Bullock comes to his repair shop. He was flooded out once before in 1979.
Well, it makes you feel a little better. I got insurance this time and I didn't have last time.
Mrs. Desi Sanford is not insured. She finds wreckage, 2 feet of water and almost nothing to salvage beyond some medicine and a few pieces of clothing.
Ain't nothing I can do. Nothing.
Hightower is not an affluent neighborhood. The financial and emotional losses will hurt for a long time. And that's one of the reasons the mayor of Jackson is angry at the federal government.
It's disgusting, and I think something ought to be done about it.
For years, the mayor has pleaded that federal funds should be used for a flood prevention project instead of government aid to the victims after each disaster.
And the dollars to do that, in my opinion, will be far less, if carefully analyzed, than the dollars that are spent by the federal government afterwards to be good guys.
Without flood control, they know in Jackson that the water will come again. Most creatures in the flood will first try to move to higher ground, but then there is something that drives them to try to go back home. And there will probably be human beings who will lose everything except their dignity. John Sheehan, CBS News, Jackson, Mississippi.
Floods and other catastrophes have left the Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund just about high and dry. The organization said today that in the first 10 months of its fiscal year, it has spent more than $33 million helping more than 1 million victims of floods, tornadoes, earthquakes, and other troubles. That has depleted relief funds, but the Red Cross said it will not shut down services and will launch a fundraising drive to maintain operations between now and the end of June. It wasn't high winds or high water that had people lining up in the interest of shelter in Ohio today. Ned Potter reports they were not homeless, but houseless.
You could think of this as a bread line, but it's the other kind of bread, credit instead of crumbs.
I wouldn't stand in line to buy football tickets, but I'll stand in line to buy a house.
The state of Ohio is offering $300 million in mortgages at just under 10%. Made available today for the first time on a first-come, first-served basis. And all around, from Cleveland to Chillicothe, people lined up at lending institutions.
It's been fun.
Trish and Mark Hendrickson were first outside the door at Buckeye Federal in Columbus. They'd been there since Friday morning.
This is $50 a month savings at least, standing out here like this. And that's quite a bit of money when you think about it.
This is the house the Hendricksons wanted and admitted they might not be able to get without that special state loan. At 9.98%, this is the first time single-digit rates have been available in Ohio in 5 years.
The idea of standing in line for 10% money seems ridiculous, yes. But it's better than walking in the door and getting 12.5.
In Cincinnati, one line got so long that the doors were open just after midnight. In Columbus, the Hendricksons had to wait 8 hours longer.
Okay, let me get your receipt, and I need your signature.
It's a $46,000 loan for them if it's approved. Monthly payments of $465 instead of $510.
Can we?
Love you too. You meet me.
I don't mind having slept in the street, said a man, as long as I get to sleep in that house I want. Ned Potter, CBS News, Columbus, Ohio.
While the state of the economy may be improving for some, the state of the nation's states is still on a downward slide. A report out today by the National Governors Association finds budget balances in most of the 50 states will be at an all-time low when the current fiscal year ends next month. And what's more, the financial slippage comes even though many states are cutting services and raising taxes.
You're looking at a new design that puts style and technology in total harmony. It's America's all-new aerodynamic sedan. Pick up the tempo of your life. The '84 Ford Tempo. New functional ideas led to Tempo's sporty form, making it one of America's most aerodynamic sedans. Inside, there's more rear room than a Mercedes 300D. And Tempo has the world's most advanced automotive computer, which continually monitors the new 2300 high-swirl combustion engine. This computerized regulation helps maximize fuel efficiency and helps give a surprisingly quick power response. There's road gripping front-wheel drive and dedication to quality, like close body fit tolerances that you can compare with any European sports sedan. Tempo, style and technology in total harmony. Pick up the tempo of your life. Have you driven a Ford? Beep, beep.
South Africa retaliated today for last week's car bombing attack in Pretoria. South African jet fighters bombed and rocketed a suburb of Maputo, the capital of neighboring Mozambique. The South African government said the attack was aimed at 5 guerrilla bases of the African National Congress and a Mozambican missile site. Mozambique said the targets were civilian, that 5 people were killed, 30 wounded. At the time of last Friday's Pretoria bombing, no group claimed responsibility, but in Tanzania today, the African National Congress said it was directly responsible. 17 people were killed in that explosion, the most serious attack the ANC has ever made against South Africa's white minority government. The Reagan administration, under fire for its unacknowledged support of rebel forces in Nicaragua, today went to unusual lengths to counter new ammunition for critics of its Central American policies. That ammunition came in a newspaper report published today. David Martin has details.
The New York Times report that CIA Director Casey and Assistant Secretary of State Enders have told Congress that U.S.-backed rebels could overthrow the government of Nicaragua by year's end drew more than the standard response from the State Department.
We wish to say that the Times' article is an inaccurate and misleading account of testimony given by administration witnesses to the relevant committees.
That was followed late in the day by an unusual public statement from Casey himself. It read, "No such prediction has been made. There is nothing in the record of the congressional briefings which remotely resembles the story in the New York Times." 2 members of the House Intelligence Committee also told CBS News Casey had made no such prediction. Pentagon officials say any prediction that anti-Sandinista rebels might overthrow the Nicaraguan government before the end of the year is premature at best. The 7,000 rebels are badly outnumbered by 100,000 Sandinistas under arms in Nicaragua. The rebels' success depends on mass defections from the Nicaraguan military and on a popular uprising against the Sandinista regime. Pentagon officials believe the ingredients for an uprising exist, but that the people of Nicaragua will not declare themselves until they are sure which side is winning. One Pentagon official linked the recent attempts by Libya to fly arms to Nicaragua to the pressure the Sandinistas are feeling from the rebels. 4 Libyan aircraft remain stranded in Brazil, but sources told CBS News that a Libyan 707 like this one has made 1 and possibly 2 round trips to Nicaragua with what is believed to be a cargo of arms. Some of the arms flowing into Nicaragua are destined for leftist guerrillas in El Salvador. For the past 3 months, U.S. intelligence has been tracking these arms shipments with nighttime flights by C-130 aircraft based in Panama and equipped with infrared cameras. These same planes were used as gunships in Vietnam. But administration officials insist that the C-130s peering into Nicaragua do not carry any ammunition and are not in danger of being fired upon. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
American Marine peacekeepers in Beirut were caught in the middle today during new fighting between rival Lebanese forces. U.S. Marine Post number 35 in a suburb of Beirut was hit by rifle fire, sending the Americans scurrying for cover for about 20 minutes. The Marines, none of whom was injured, said the bullets were not intended for them. It is the Israeli-Syrian standoff in Lebanon's Bekaa Valley that is seen as the greatest potential for a new Mideast war. But it's the current skirmishing between the rival Lebanese forces that could trigger that war. Alan Pizzi reports from the Bekaa Valley.
This is a Soviet-made long-range artillery gun. Dug into the ripening wheat and hashish crop of the Bekaa Valley, it is one of several aimed not at the Israelis, but at Lebanese Christian forces. The men manning the guns are Lebanese, members of an expanding force funded originally by Libya and now subsidized with $3 million a year from Syria. The group is just one of many Lebanese organizations which opposes the Lebanese-Israeli agreement and the Lebanese government, and who are willing to use force to express their opposition. This 3,000-man militia's operational area is adjacent to Syrian positions in the Bekaa. Officers say they want to fight the Israelis rather than accept the peace pact. But their political leaders see a more complex future.
If Syrian and Israeli troops leave Lebanon, that means we'll be face-to-face against this phalangist government.
Kanso says he does not want war with Beirut, but if the deal with Israel is allowed to stand, his people will have no future if they are not ready to fight. The armies of the opposition movement are neither integrated nor particularly efficient, but they do add to both the muscle of those who want the Lebanese-Israeli deal to fail and to the problems of the government of President Amin Gemayel in restoring some semblance of democratic order in Lebanon and avoiding another civil war. The movement claims it holds the majority of support in the northern half of the country, and with a combined military force of 20,000 men, it must be appeased if Lebanon's problems are to be solved peacefully. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, in the northern Bekaa Valley.
Start out in a bright new way.
It's new.
Shredded wheat, toasted wheat and raisins.
Whole wheat and raisins grown in the sun. No added sugar or salt. This is the only one.
Start out in a bright new way. Shredded wheat, toasted wheat and raisins.
Raisins with smaller, lighter shredded wheat. No added sugar or salt. It's just naturally sweet.
Start out in a bright new way.
The only raisin cereal with no added sugar or salt.
Nabisco.
I've made up my mind.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes. Why don't you make me some coffee?
Times like these are made for taster's choice.
Soft as the moment, rich as the feeling. Only Taster's Choice has the soft, rich flavors so right for your best coffee times.
A Supreme Court ruling today that former rank has its privileges. The justices held unanimously that military veterans groups may carry on lobbying activities without losing their tax-exempt status. The reason why veterans should be singled out for special treatment, according to the court, is the special service veterans gave the nation. The witness was disguised. His testimony today unabashed about how easy it was to do New York City business on $10,000 a day on someone else's tab. Eric Engberg has more on congressional testimony about credit card fraud, where they don't even need your card so long as they've got your number.
Do you know him? He used to be a criminal. His congressional appearance won't win him any friends among old co-workers. That's why they hid an identity. His specialty, taking major credit card companies to the cleaners by charging thousands on stolen and counterfeit credit cards.
I made a very, very good living. I went from hot dogs to caviar.
The witness, his voice electronically muffled, gave congressmen who are considering making credit card crime a federal offense a quick lesson. Actual cards are easy to obtain. Prostitutes who steal them from clients are one source, larcenous postal employees another.
If you got dollars, you can buy anything. There's nobody without a price tag.
What made it a sweet racket, the witness said, is that he didn't need anyone's real card. High-quality counterfeits are readily available, lacking only identification numbers. He would get a number to stamp on by rifling the garbage behind stores, the carbon paper left over from legitimate bills providing real names and numbers.
How much do you estimate in a day that you could charge to my account?
If you really got out and work, you could do like 10,000 easy.
10,000 a day?
Yeah. It's a large business. It's money. It's like being a Wall Street broker.
Investigators believe organized crime is behind much of the counterfeiting, which is now a billion-dollar-a-year industry. The card companies, to offset their losses, are passing them along to consumers as a cost of doing business. While Congress ponders new laws to attack the problem, Mr. Witness, who went to jail for his crimes, offered a professional opinion that new laws might help some, but that there's too much plastic and too much greed.
They can't stop it. You'll never stop this.
Eric Engberg, CBS News, Washington.
Ads on the air and in print for alcoholic beverages today came under renewed attack as anything but the solution to the problem of problem drinkers, and as an invitation to the young to become part of the problem. Criticisms that industry in effect called unfair shots. Susan Spencer looks tonight at the latest attempt to bite the hair of the dog.
An estimated 10 million Americans have drinking problems, and today's report by the Center for Science in the Public Interest charges that advertising may create more. The authors claim that industry targets ads to two groups, problem drinkers and the young. Examples, television ads featuring rock groups.
And it took a great beer like Schlitz to bring the Who to America.
And print ads, many from college papers, one implying that term papers are better with beer in hand.
As one industry spokesperson said, getting a college student to buy your brand is like having an annuity. They may buy your product for the next 20 years.
As for appeals to the problem drinker, there was this schnapps ad showing what the report called a recommended dose. An ad suggesting that 3 p.m. is a fine time to haul out the liqueur, and another implying it's okay to drink to solve problems. A liquor industry spokesman, surrounded by his group's own public service ads, called the report unscientific, though, and said the authors just don't want anybody to drink anything.
What we are not doing, which is implicit in the charge by the center, is that somehow by educating or informing that individual about our product that we are therefore guilty of trying to get that individual to drink to excess or to illegally give it to people who are underage. That is not true.
The report urges that print ads contain health warnings about alcohol, that television and radio advertising for beer and wine be banned altogether, or at least be balanced with information about alcohol's harmful effects. But the report's authors concede that given the lobbying power of this industry, neither recommendation is likely to go very far. Susan Spencer, CBS News, Washington.
Someday when you see a fire, you'll be able to rush to a nearby phone and call a new type of 911 number. A number that will not only alert emergency forces to your call, but automatically tell them where you're calling from. Thanks to one of the new Western Electric computer software systems being installed in many communities. Automatically, it will flash the exact location of the ambulance service, police precinct, or fire company nearest to you. And most important, the exact location of your call. So that someday, when you dial 911, nobody will have to ask, where's the fire? Lightwave, microelectronics, software. These are the technologies behind the dream of the information age. Who will make this dream a reality? We will. We're Western Electric, working with your phone company to bring the information age home to you.
This is the oath. If I go forward, follow me. If I hesitate, push me. If they kill me, avenge me. If I am a traitor, kill me. That represents a mentality behind bars. It represents, Rita Braver reports, a mentality also loose on the streets.
Members of prison gangs, men so violent that the maximum security unit at San Quentin Prison is divided into sections for different gangs to keep them from attacking each other and from preying on non-members. State and federal officials say that these gangs are a new and terrifying type of organized crime, with chapters in prisons ranging over 20 states, gang leaders inside prisons who control vast networks of crime on the streets.
These prison gangs are both inside and outside, and the organization is, I would say, somewhat like a military organization. The direction may well be coming from inside a prison.
Prison gangs now control so much street crime here in California that the federal government has entered the scene. U.S. attorneys are now prosecuting prison gang leaders under the same racketeering statutes they used to go after the mafia. And like the mafia, prison gangs are organized along ethnic lines, with names like the Black Guerrilla Family, the Aryan Brotherhood, the Mexican Mafia, La Nuestra Familia. Members join in prison and when released go to work in the gang's street operations. Laws allowing visitors and mail make it easy for members in jail to pass orders along to the outside.
We can trace crimes that occur here in Los Angeles that had their origin, their plan, scheme, and design in Marion, Illinois, or Atlanta, or some other state other than California.
Detective Jim Vuchas runs the Los Angeles Police Department's prison gang unit.
Bank robbery, narcotics is a major source of their funding. Burglaries, extortion, prostitution, loan sharking. They won't hesitate to kill. Fear, intimidation, killing, that's their main weapon.
Arthur Beltran used to run street crime for La Nuestra Familia. Because he's a federal witness against his old gang, we're not allowed to show his face on television. He described how the gang recruited street prostitutes.
They would go to the prostitute and they would tell the prostitute, listen, we're going to provide you protection from anyone. If they didn't cooperate then the second step would be to go in there and break their arms or their legs, put them in the hospital. And the final step was they would kill her. They make an example of one and the rest would fall over.
Law enforcement officials estimate that in California alone, over the last 7 years, gangs have been responsible for at least 328 killings on the streets, 120 more in the prisons. The Justice Department has now started a new prison gang task force to monitor the gangs and try to control them.
What we would try to do is to place those gang members in places where we can minimize their recruiting efforts. We would try not to, for example, put all of them in the same prison.
But breaking the gangs is almost impossible. Members take an oath to stay in for life.
An automatic death sentence on any gang member that turns traitor, coward, or deserter.
And money is another lure. Experts say the prison gangs are now about as rich, powerful, and well-organized as the mafia was 30 years ago. Most of the profits from gang crime go back into operations, for legal fees, or to jailed members' families. A few members have made enough money to go from the slums of Los Angeles to the mansions of Beverly Hills. That is the dream for new recruits. But for these young criminals from the ghettos and barrios, just belonging to a crime organization, just appearing strong and mean, may be enough.
Whether it's down the street or in the yard, they've got their shoulders thrown back, their head up, and they're walking tall. They have a lot of pride. There's a lot of machismo to it.
We may control it, say law enforcement officials, but we'll never stop it. Rita Braver, CBS News, San Quentin Prison.
Like all actors, I have an agent. Sign that. And a business manager. Pay that. And a secretary. Don't lose that. Luckily, Canon's come up with personal cartridge copiers. You know the entire copying process is in here, so maintenance is as simple as this. And copies come in black, brown, or blue on plain paper. Finally, Canon PC-10 or PC-20 for the most important person in my life, me.
For information, call toll-free. Canon Personal Cartridge Copying. Plain and simple.
You're about to see a dishwasher clean dishes like never before and save energy at the same time. Announcing the Whirlpool Power Clean Energy Saver Dishwasher. With a new washing system that gives you unbeatably clean dishes, yet uses 20% less hot water in the normal cycle than any dishwasher we've ever built. And like our washers and refrigerators, it comes with the Whirlpool promise to give you your money's worth and make your world a little easier.
What's the watchword with many Americans today?
Think about salt.
Right. The Surgeon General's report says Americans get too much salt. So when you need an antacid, reach for Riopan Plus, a fast-acting antacid low in sodium. So low it's considered sodium-free. Laboratory tests show it neutralized acid 4 times faster than equal amounts of the 2 leading liquids. Riopan Plus, fast-acting, low in sodium. So low it's considered sodium-free. Riopan Plus.
In the days so long ago, when the ancient Greeks ruled what was then the world, a great temple for the goddess Athena was built on the Acropolis. It was called the Parthenon, and it was a structure of perfect proportion. Today, 20th century Greece is trying to reclaim some of its antiquity. Tom Fenton in London explains.
The 2,400-year-old Parthenon that crowns the Acropolis of Athens is the supreme expression of the glory that was Greece in its golden age. It never ceases to infuriate the Greeks that the best parts of the Parthenon must be seen more than 1,500 miles away at the British Museum in London. The great marble sculptures were stripped from the temple almost 2 centuries ago by a British aristocrat, Lord Elgin. Now, the Greek government has launched a campaign to get them back. Leading the assault is actress Melina Mercouri, Greek Minister of Culture. Miss Mercouri swept into London this week to try her powers of persuasion on the British establishment. She cornered the director of the British Museum, David Wilson, at a reception.
This is something very important for us. It's not a matter of fact of even for culture. It's more than culture.
Wilson protested that to give back the marbles would open the door for claims from all over the world.
So you ruin the British Museum? No, I don't want to ruin the British Museum. I want my marbles.
You're in a dilemma,
back.
are you not? Yes, you want your marbles and other people want their marbles.
Miss Mercouri might have thanked the museum for saving at least part of the temple's great marble frieze from the fate of the rest of the Parthenon. After 2 centuries of wars and the advent of the internal combustion engine, the shattered remains of the Parthenon are crumbling under a pall of corrosive smog.
There were 2 halves of the frieze. Lord Elgin took one half, and it's in perfect shape. The Greeks kept the other half, and it's in terrible shape. So who are the vandals, the Greeks or the British?
You asking me? You asking me what? I think that is not true what you are saying. They are not in a marvelous, and he has destroyed the monument.
The present Lord Elgin denies the charge that his ancestor looted Greece's national treasures.
It was, and still is, one of the greatest personal rescue operations that has ever occurred in the civilized world.
To return the marbles would require an act of parliament. The proposal has its supporters here, but they're not in the present government. Britain's Iron Lady, Prime Minister Thatcher, seems no more likely to return the marbles than she is the Falkland Islands. Tom Fenton, CBS News, London.
Bill Curtis sitting in for Dan Rather. Good night.
Ma'am, what's that cereal you're enjoying?
Well, it has delicious apple slices and cinnamon, and they call it fruit and, I forget.
Post Fruit and Fiber cereal. It tastes so good, you forget the fiber.
The name? With all these apples, it's got to be apple something. Or fruit something.
Fruit and Fiber tastes so good, you forget the fiber.
Sure, it's fruit and...
Fruit and Fiber, also with dates, raisins, and walnuts. It tastes so good, you forget the fiber.
Jackie Stewart evaluates the first turbo-powered Thunderbird.
The car directionally is very stable, partly because of the excellent aerodynamics. It's a well-balanced car, and that is what you look for. One piece of machinery that acts all as one. The car is so precise to drive. You feel as if you're part of that car. The Thunderbird Turbo Coupe doesn't give you the confidence, it proves it to you. It's a very, very good car.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
This woman has had diabetes for years.
Mrs. Johnson?
So there's a chance her daughter may also develop it. Diabetes is a serious illness, but it can be controlled.
How have you been feeling, Nancy?
Kind of tired.
Mm-hmm. Are you often thirsty?
Yes.
11 million Americans have diabetes, maybe even you, especially if you're over 40 and overweight. So check with your doctor. This message was brought to you by Pfizer Pharmaceuticals.
I'll know soon, Mom.
Pfizer, one of your partners in health care.
This is CBS.
In our news tonight, as state